Welcome, our virtual water cooler friends, to the 34th episode of Into the Filmverse. What is Into the Filmverse, you ask? Well, that is a great question. It's a movie fan podcast covering all types of film content, including movie news, new releases, and a variety of past releases. I'm Mytchel Chandler.
And I'm Bryce Payne.
And today we are discussing a slew of movie news, The Social Network, and various content we watched throughout the week, including the new releases of Cruella and A Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah.
So hey, we talk about a lot of movies on the podcast, and if you want to hear our reviews for the films we talk about, or even some that we don't bring up, join us on Letterboxd, basically a social platform that we use for movie reviews. You can find me, Mytchel Chandler, at Mytch Reviews, and Mytch is spelled with a Y, so that's Mytch.
And you can find me, Bryce Payne, at Payne Reviews, Payne Reviews.
So, as we like to do, before we go into all the films we watched throughout the week here, we're going to discuss the latest movie news and trailers. And this week we have quite a bit of movie news and new trailers to get through, so bear with us as we kind of trudge through this. So this actually got announced a few weeks ago, and I just neglected to bring it up, and I kind of mad at myself that I forgot to, because it's one of my favorite franchises that exists out there throughout everything, and that is the Psych franchise. They are making a Psych 3. A Psych 3 is in development. There's a long-run TV show series, I think about 9 seasons. They did 2 films, and now they're coming back for a 3rd, and I just wanted to say, that's right. I'm just super excited.
This is such a weird thing, because I was just like, what's your favorite franchise? And it was just like, Psych.
Yeah, no, I definitely have a tattoo from Psych, and I'm just like, give me more Psych. The more I can see Sean and Gus, the better. So I was just super excited about that, and I figured we should mention that. As the next up, we have an animated Injustice film is coming from DC.
I thought this was live action. I was pretty sad when I
found out
I was wrong.
Because you texted me there was a DC Injustice film coming out. I'm like, wait, really? And then you said it was animated, and I'm like, oh, well, my enthusiasm was a little bit tempered, because typically the DC stuff that comes out is not that great, like the animated stuff. At least I don't find it that great.
I like the animated films.
A lot of people do. I haven't found any of them that appealing to me. I mean, they're okay, but they're just not they're not Spider-Verse quality.
By the time you get like 8 films in, you're kind of like, all right, I'm over this.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried to watch every single one. I made it like almost all the way, and I was just like, I'm burned out. I'm done.
I wouldn't like to say that it's particularly bad. It's just very rudimentary when it comes to the budget, the action, not the action, but the look of them, and then the story overall. It just seems very.
Some of them are really fucking good though. There's a few I'm like, damn, that shit. I think this is gonna be the first one. The first release they had was Flashpoint.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Solid.
You know, the issue I had with that one is I feel like I've read Flashpoint and I watched Flashpoint and the TV series, and I don't know. I just feel like I've seen Flashpoint everywhere. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, and then the new Flash movie comes out. It's gonna be covering Flashpoint.
I know it is. I'm just like, oh my god, this is the only story that you guys can have that tells of Flash. All right,
it's
I get it though. It's like its quintessential story. I get it. We are excited about this, particularly you, because he's one of your actors that you like to see come up, and his name is Timothee Chalamet, and he's going to play the new Willy Wonka.
I love him, and I'm excited for this one though, because young Willy Wonka, and all I can think about is that's pretty fucking good casting. It
is. I saw that and I was like, that's really accurate. I don't know who else I would have chosen besides him for that role.
Yeah, I was like, when I heard he was in the running, I was like, well, he's gonna get it.
Yeah, he's just has that dynamic where he's just off. You can just tell something's not quite right there.
I'm like, yeah, he fits the bill. He would look like a young Willy Wonka. I hope he does his hair like Johnny Depp's.
I'm interested that would be pretty cool. I'm interested to see what they do with the story.
I'm interested to see, because is it a prequel to the Johnny Depp version, or is it
I doubt it.
To the Gene Wilder version, or is it a new take?
I bet you just a new take. It's not the same thing they do with Cruella.
I'm interested. I mean, I'm definitely interested. It's probably not one of those I'm gonna be dying to see in theaters, but I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm always down to see whatever news is new in theaters, and I mean, unless it's something that they might, it's HBO Max and in theaters at the same time, then I might be like, I don't know.
It might be an HBO Max watch.
I don't know. I have to take a look. But another one of our big stars and a big franchise that I don't think neither of us have seen. Maybe you have. I haven't talked about it, but Henry Cavill was cast to lead in Highlander reboot.
I saw the TV show when I was a kid. My dad really liked the show, really liked the movies and stuff, so I watched those a lot.
The first movie is I guess heralded as the biggest, a really awesome first '80s movie, and I'm like, you know, whoever, if you talk to somebody from the '80s, like that grew up then,
yeah, they're always like Highlander. Yeah,
exactly. They appreciate it.
You know the concept behind it though.
No.
Like, it's these like immortal guys with swords that just like they get power from the other immortals when they kill them and cut off their heads.
Right, I'm just like,
they gain their powers and shit.
So, and then apparently the second one is like the worst film in history. I don't know how that happens. So the first one's like the best one, and the second one's like the worst one.
I don't know. The TV show is pretty solid though. I remember watching a few episodes.
So I mean, I love Henry Cavill. Anything he's in,
it's a good casting because they're kind of like bigger guys and they just walk around with swords and like cut each other's heads off.
Exactly. He's very much the perfect cast for that. I would say
they saw him as Geralt and was like, that's who we need.
That's who we need. So that's something to look forward to. We'll have to watch Highlander at some point and review that so we can kind of like get a precursor to what he's gonna be. But
I might own it. I don't remember though because
I'm sure my dad does too, but I don't have a way to watch it.
I'm like, I think I took it from my dad when I was moving shit, and he just had movies. I think I took it, but I don't really remember. I might have gotten rid of it.
So this next story comes from one of my favorites, one of my other favorite franchises. The actor that played Kick-Ass, that'd be Aaron Taylor Johnson. You don't mind also know him as Quicksilver in the Marvel films. He's been cast as another Marvel character, but in the Sonyverse as Kraven the Hunter.
I'm fucking hyped. I love Kraven the Hunter.
This is a casting that I would not have seen coming from a mile away.
No, definitely. I'm like, Kraven the Hunter does not... Like, when I think of Kraven the Hunter, I don't think of...
I think like big Russian. Like I don't know why I'm in my head, but...
I'm like, big hunter dude, not Quicksilver.
And then, right, exactly. But then you look at a picture of him, like, not in the Quicksilver, like, outfit. Just a standard picture of him, and you know what? Like, I see a young Kraven. I really do.
I'm just excited because there's a comic storyline where he kills Spider-Man. I know that's not gonna happen, but I want
the Last Hunt. Yeah,
I want to see him on screen with Spider-Man. Like, I want that.
I think that would be interesting. I doubt they're gonna do it, but that would be cool. I
just really want Spider-Man in the Sonyverse.
I guess we'll find about that soon. Actually, speaking of that, I saw a report that they one of the Sony execs was like, "Oh, you'll see how we're connecting all of these Sony verse stuff to the MCU and Spider-Man No Way Home." I don't know. I sent you that. Did
all
you see
I can
that?
think about is like, would Kevin Feige allow this?
I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. There's so much surrounding that I'm like, I don't know.
It's a huge mystery to
everybody.
Exactly.
But Kraven Hunter.
Sony really doesn't know what's going on. They're just like, we're just going to spitball here and maybe one day it'll work itself out.
Honestly. And Kraven, so I'm excited for this. I would say without Venom, I'm probably like, why are they making this film? Because the first Venom, I was very much like, if you're not going to have Spider-Man in it, why are you having a Venom film? Like, Venom is a Spider-Man character. But the fact that they were able to make Venom work and make over $800 million, I'm like, all right, I guess I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And Morbius looks like it's going to be pretty good. Obviously, we haven't seen that yet, but that looks like it's going to be pretty good.
Morbius should be interesting. I'm excited to see what happens with that. But and also, that's the big mystery though, is because Michael Keaton's in that, and I'm like,
yeah, and he's wearing the same outfit as he was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, so I'm like, we're gonna find out shit soon here.
We will. I mean, we're not too far away. I bet you will see a new trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home within the next month or two here.
Be better because they tease it. Did you hear about their Twitter post where they just they're like, oh, new trailer, and they just put a fucking trailer picture on their Twitter?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was
like, y'all fucking mean. Like,
they are.
You know what we want.
More DC news. Joker 2 script is being written.
What the fuck? We don't need a sequel.
Todd Phillips. No, but when you make $1 billion at the box office, you gotta at least sit down and have the conversation. Is there something we can write that? Is there a story we can tell continuing this? I mean, because they very much said this, and even Joaquin Phoenix is not the type of person to sign up for sequels. So he was like, I'm not gonna. And even Todd Phillips, like, well, we built this to be a one and done. But the fact is, they were not expecting the Oscar nominations. They weren't expecting the amount of money, $1 billion.
They got nominated for Best Picture. They're looking at this like, we could do better.
So you're sitting here at Sony, you're like, all right, look, I know, like, you guys are just playing on it, but y'all better fucking sit down and at least have a conversation about making a second one. And it seems like they might actually have something. They're making a spec script, whether or not it gets made, who knows? But I mean, I'm sure at this point, they're gonna find something to make a second one.
I'll be honest, I don't really want a second one. I haven't even rewatched the first one since I saw it in theaters, and I'm just like, I can't.
I'm always down for. This is my opinion, and I'm sure other people have to feel differently. I'm always down for sequels, and but because
Joker was an intense film, and I haven't found it in my energy to like sit down and watch it again because I'm like, one time was enough.
I watched it 3 times in theater, and I haven't.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I watched it 3 times.
You
in
watch
theater.
a lot of movies on repeat in theaters.
When I really like it, I do. Yeah.
I like Joker, but I was like, when it was over, I was like, that was a fucking experience, and I don't want to watch it for a really long time.
I don't know. I just felt so like, oh yeah, that's perfect. I need to see that again. I was like, I want to see that ending so many more times, please. Also, I kept having to see. I wanted to see new things. Like I know I saw it like once with Randy, and then I saw it another time with my family, and then I saw it another time with Randy because we need to see it again.
Jada still hasn't seen it.
What? Jada.
She was sick the night we were supposed to, so I took Skylar.
Oh my gosh.
And so we oh my god, it's actually a really funny story. So like I got home, we were supposed to see it, and she's in the bathroom puking. And she's
yeah, you did tell me about this.
She's like, I could go. It's like, no, you can't. I'm just gonna text Skylar. And she hasn't seen it since because I haven't rewatched it since I saw it.
Watch her get sick the next time you try to watch it. It'd be funny.
I'll be like, it's just bad luck. We're not.
Actually, I've been thinking about that film and how I need to watch it again. It just has so much gravitas and like realness to it that I just like. It's almost like not even a comic book film, but it has that traces of the DNA of a comic book film. So I'm just like, yes. Anyway, so Joker 2 script being written. Whether or not it gets turned into a thing, we'll find out. Shazam 2 has begun shooting.
It comes out after Black Adam, though, right?
Yes.
Because I'm gonna say it again. I've said it before on the podcast, but I really want to see Dwayne kick the shit out of Zachary Levi.
Oh, me too.
I just don't like Zachary. Every time I see his face in Shazam, he's like that stupid fucking smile, and he's like sitting there doing like the whip or whatever the fuck it is, the floss. And I was like, I just want to punch him. Like,
I love that.
He's got that fucking smile. He's like, look how funny I am. I'm like, I hate you. Like, the kid, I forget his name. God,
Billy Batson.
Yeah, but I forget the actor's name.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I have his face, but I can't pin down a name. Anyway, I thought he did a lot better job than Zachary Levi.
I don't know. I thought they were perfect for what they're playing.
I like kid actors though, because when they do a good job, I'm like,
that's fair. Because a lot of kid actors aren't that great.
Yeah, adult actors, I'm like, all right, whatever. You're an adult.
A lot of the Stranger Things kids are good. Like they were good when they were in that.
The only issue I have with the Stranger Kid things is Finn Wolfhard now has an ego.
I mean, I haven't seen anything. I mean,
well, it's because he got popular in Stranger Things and he did the It movies, and then like he just blew up. And I'm like, I liked you when you were just like a nobody and just like cute, and now you're just like everywhere, and I don't like it.
Yeah, but I mean, how they act outside of films isn't representative.
I know, but it's just how I think, and I'm like, when you see like you being an asshole or something. I know he's not an asshole; he's a very nice guy from what I've seen, but like, he's just like the ego. And then I'm like, I don't really want to watch your work anymore because I don't want to help like inflate that.
I'm not sure I understand.
But he's gonna be in the Ghostbusters soft reboot or whatever.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
I'm excited for that, but I'm also like, he just became everywhere. Like, it was like how Timothee Chalamet was in like every fucking movie for like 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, if the dude can get work, the dude can get work. You know, I mean, people are casting him. That's pretty good. So Oscar Isaac. I know this is something I think we talked about a few months ago. But it was actually never confirmed. So it was just confirmed by Marvel that Oscar Isaac is going to be Moon Knight.
Just confirmed. I thought that was confirmed like 3 months ago.
Yeah, no, exactly. Everybody thought it was. It was surprised because Marvel came out and said Oscar Isaac is confirmed as Moon Knight. Like, oh, I guess it was never actually confirmed.
He was training. Like, what do you? We knew. Shut up.
No, we knew. We knew for some reason. I don't know how we knew.
Marvel's like, by the way, like, no, your guys are late to your own party. We all knew.
That's exactly the case of what happened. Because I think it was like one of the major trades that reported it, and then Marvel never confirmed it until now.
That's so annoying.
I know. I just thought it was funny, but
it is funny. But I'm like, how can everyone in the world know but you?
Exactly. So worst kept secret. Oscar Isaac is confirmed as Moon Knight.
No, that's Doc Ock.
Well, you're right, probably. Yeah, Doc Ock, the worst kept secret. All right. Okay, now we get into the full. I want to say shebang, kit and caboodle, the full Monty Python, the full escape. What am I talking about here? The trailers. We're going to get into the trailers that have come out this week. And I'm going to count this out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trailers to talk about.
Straight up, I probably haven't seen most of these.
I know I'm like, this film, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that because I just don't care.
I don't watch trailers unless I'm in theaters.
All right, so first off, we'll start off with the big one, Marvel's Eternals.
Oh, that trailer's so pretty.
Chloe Zhao obviously coming off her Oscar win.
I got no fucking clue what's happening in the movie, but it's pretty and I like it.
And it just seemed like it had a large scope.
Do you know that this movie actually apparently was a huge like issue with Kevin Feige? Because Chloe Zhao was very much like, I want to be filming in real locations, and Marvel doesn't typically do that.
I mean, I heard that's the. I mean, I didn't hear there was a problem. I heard that it was like they catered specifically to what she wanted, so that way she could make the film that she wanted to. Well, but they would know that when they went out and did negotiations and all that. I mean, they wouldn't sign her on and be like, all of a sudden she's like, oh, I want to do it real locations. I mean, I'm sure it was definitely a divergence from what they originally did.
It was difficult for him though, because he's like, we don't typically do that. But all right, yeah, you want it, go ahead. And then she won best director, best picture, and now Eternals is like, according to statistics, could be possible up to be best picture nominated next year.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying this is. A lot of people within the industry and are saying that this is the best Marvel film that they've ever produced.
This shit's pretty as hell, and the cast. Oh man, they're like. They look so good. Yeah, we
saw what, a minute, and they said like 5 lines, but I was like, I don't entirely know what's going on. All I can tell you is this looks beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and it's just, I don't know. After seeing Nomadland, it seems
you can see very much.
You can see Chloe Zhao.
Yeah,
and then you also gotta think like this is the first Oscar-winning director that's gonna be directing a Marvel film. Like,
even though I didn't, that's true.
Like shit.
And even though I didn't like Nomadland as like overall, I do admit like it was very pretty, and I was like, I can see. I couldn't take that away from it. It was like, this is really good, like, and like it's good to look. It's fun to look at.
I don't know if Eternals is gonna be very action based though, because I don't know. Once again, the trailer didn't show very much for us except for scenery and shit.
Man, but it's a Marvel film, so I have to imagine there's gonna be action in there.
But I just don't know if that's gonna be like the main focus. I think it's gonna be more about the characters, which I'm also okay with. Because
no, it has to be. I mean, if you have like 7, 8 characters and like a family, you have to focus on the characters. But there's no way that there's not going to be some. Oh no,
there's got to be some big battle at the end. You know, it's Marvel. You know, it's going to have a third, fucking what's it called?
It's just going to be weird. I just hope it's not. And this is just my fear because I just see it, and it just a lot of times with these ones where like I've been there the whole time. It's very shallow. Like all these films are very shallow, and I'm just hoping that's not where it's coming from. It's they don't dive too much. It doesn't come together all the way. It doesn't touch the audience, I guess, the way it should.
You know what's weird though? Is in the comics, Thanos is an Eternal.
Yeah, I know he has a big ties to it.
So they're like, this could be a backwards or backdoor.
You know, my thing is, I just don't want the characters to be forgettable, because a lot of them are, or pretty much all of them have these suits. Their suits aren't like super extravagant, and like they're not somebody that any like the pop culture or even me just kind of know off the top of my head. So, the biggest thing, how people felt about Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, this is a big risk for Marvel.
Yeah.
Well, I knew who Guardians of the Galaxy was, so I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I guess a big risk, but I mean, like, they pull off that stuff.
And then they pull out the Eternals, you're like, who the fuck are you?
This is the first time that I don't know if they're gonna be able to pull this off. Like, I totally know they got a great director in Chloe Zhao, and I'm sure Kevin Feige is not gonna let us down. But just me, I'm just like, this is a big question mark to me.
Yeah, you think about it, you're like, I don't know who they are.
I don't
know what's going on.
I have no idea. And it's like the first time I'm on a comic property that I'm not sure who even the characters are.
I know one character, Black Knight, and that's only because Kit Harington plays him.
I mean, I like Kit Harington. I'm glad he's in it. And I think one of the other Snows is in there too.
Angelina Jolie's in it.
Stark's in it. Angelina Jolie. Okay, that's true.
I mean, there's the guy who played the Robert
Riz
Stark.
Ahmed. No, not Riz Ahmed. I'm dumb.
Robert Stark from Game of Thrones. His actor's in it.
Oh, I forgot the guy's name.
I don't remember his name. He was only in the season.
Not Rob Stark. The other guy's name. The Indian guy. I forgot his name.
Oh God, I don't know.
I know him too, though.
I got the Instagram photo in my head where he was like buff as fuck.
I know he looks good. I was like, I'm excited to see him in it too, because I think he's been in some comedies too, right? Wasn't he in?
I want to say Stuber.
Yeah, I think he was in Stuber. But anyways, so yeah, super cool looking trailer. Not a whole lot going on, but we'll look forward to see more.
I'm excited.
All right, that was 1 of 8. So next one that you're super excited for, I saw it and I immediately thought you were gonna be super excited for this. And
Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho.
Yes, sir.
Oh shit, dude! I showed my sister this, and she was like, "I don't know what's going on." I'm like, "I don't either," but it's Edgar Wright. He could shit in a bucket, and I'd still go fucking pay to see it. I don't give a fuck.
So my big knowledge from Edgar Wright is from around when the first Ant-Man was getting made, because he was the first one. Yeah, he was the first one supposed to direct that, and obviously there were some issues with him with how he wanted to take it creatively. So then Peyton Reed stepped in and directed it. However,
you've seen some of those movies now, thanks to me.
I have. So he's a pretty interesting director. So I was like, all right, well, I'm interested in your stuff. And then what really like gave me the extra pop was Anya Taylor-Joy. Man, anything that she's in, I'm just like, just sign me up. Like,
Dude,
I don't care. Like, whatever you put in. Obviously, we got like the later, like we just saw New Mutants recently, but that was her film from years ago. I mean, if you haven't seen Queen's Gambit, that's her most recent thing she's done with like it was like a chess centered
TV show,
Netflix show on Netflix. I almost said that. I did. That was a phenomenal. And anything after, and I saw that, and I was just like, count me in for whatever you're doing. I want to see you work.
Man, my experience with Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead, one of the first movies I ever
Right.
watched.
Oh yeah, it's the
Cornetto trilogy.
Cornetto trilogies. Okay, yeah, yeah, I know I'm in. I love his sensibilities.
And then Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
And then we saw his interview with Bong Joon-ho when we saw Memories of Murder.
Yeah.
He's such a like endearing dude. And then this trailer just looked trippy as hell. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a horror movie. I don't know anything, but it looks so weird, and I love it.
If the first thing I thought of when I saw this trailer was, I was like, I feel like this is what Possessor was aiming towards, like that. Not that it's the same material,
but just like the weird,
like trippy,
shit.
like imagery, like flip back and forth, but you're also able to still follow along but it be engaging. And I think that's where Possessor failed. It just wasn't engaging for me. I know it was for you. But
there was a scene in the trailer where like they break in the wall and like reach out.
That was dope.
And here's the thing: I saw that trailer over 6 times. I've watched this trailer over 6 times, and I'm still like, holy shit! I am so hyped.
I just like the subtleties. Like, I mean, they told the story without having hardly any dialogue. You know, like it was just like they just woke up. I mean, I don't think there was even one word. I mean, there was like one thing at the end. Like
there was do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, that was it. That was the only dialogue in this entire trailer.
And then this has Matt Smith, who played the 11th Doctor in Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
always love seeing him in movies because I'm like, I don't know his acting capabilities other than Doctor Who really. So seeing him in movies, I'm like, oh, you getting like weird with your filmography. Nice.
You know where this trailer really like? I mean, it sold me. Like
Time.
I was. No, I get that.
Like
I do like my time things and like the dichotomy between that. But what really sold me, and this is gonna be a little weird for me, but it's literally the last like scene of the trailer when it cracked into glass and it like froze, because that was so like different from the entire rest of the trailer. Dude, I was just like it was a little jarring, and I was just like that. I mean, I don't know why, but that was completely cool the way that they subverted what I was expecting to see.
Here's what Jada said when she was watching it. She started and she's like, "Oh, this looks weird," and then like halfway through, she's like, "Is this a horror movie?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know. I know
it's like thriller horror.
It's like a weird suspense thriller thing." And
sci-fi a little bit too.
I got no clue. I like the time travel aspect because like I like movies where it's like people go in the past.
Yeah, it's like, is she herself or is she the other chick?
And like she like slowly, like in the trailer, you see her slowly start becoming the girl. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I love it.
Exactly, and the father did that really well. I don't know. We just saw Anthony Hopkins,
where time it was like, is like weird and like
and they're like messing with your head, but you're still able to follow along, and you're like, but they're flipping stuff on you, so like you're still not sure what's going on, but you're still able to be concreted in the world.
Dude, I'm so excited for this. This is one of those movies where I'm like, I'm gonna watch this day one. I don't give a fuck.
Same, and this is what. One of the films, and this is what reminds me of why I love film so much, is because it's films like these that I had no idea. I literally had before the trailer dropped. I had no idea this even existed. This was coming. Like we get excited. We get excited about Eternals. We get excited about we big
know
movies.
All that, and then all of a sudden you see these trailers drop. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're like, okay, it comes out in 2 months, and you're like, holy shit, really? Like I don't know about this one.
This one comes out in October.
Okay, but
which
still,
is also making me think more like
this year.
It's more like a horror movie to me because I'm like, it's October. It's like that creepy, ominous music. The whole like shatter through the walls, grab her from the floor. I mean, I'm sold.
And it's crazy to me because I literally watch movie news daily, right?
You sent me this trailer, and I was like, I can't watch it till I'm on my break, and I really want to watch it because like it's Edgar Wright, and I want to watch it.
Yeah, it really, and it's the films that surprise me that come out of nowhere that I really like enjoy because like that's my favorite part of the year is like the films that I don't expect to come, because like there's a big tentpole films like I'm sitting here waiting for, and then all of a sudden like in between like in between like an Avengers film and like a DC film, I'll be sitting here and then like boom, Last Night in Soho comes out and I'm like, yo, what the hell is this?
I'm so excited. Edgar Wright, he's like, you can tell his appreciation for film.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was that Thunderball thing when she goes out to the past and like like he even when he interviewed Bong Joon-ho, he was like he complimented Bong on his like film collection because you saw it in the background.
Oh yeah,
and he was like, "Oh yeah, right on the other side of my camera, you can't see it, but I got all my film." I was like, he loves film and he makes films. I love it.
That's funny. So that down, we also watched the new not Saw franchise Escape Room Tournament of Champions trailer.
Looks cool too.
I'm so down. The first movie, Escape Room, I had neglected to watch it for like a full year.
Dude, straight up. Okay, so Skylar watched this before I did.
Okay.
He watched it and he was like, "Oh, me and this girl he was into, they went and did an escape room. They're like, oh, we should go watch the movie Escape Room."
Right.
And he was telling me about it. He was like, "Yeah, you guys should watch it." And I was like, "All right, yeah, whatever." I didn't check it out for like 3 months. And I finally watched it. I was like, "This is fucking Saw."
I wish somebody would have sold me more on it before, because
if someone had told me like, "Yo, you like Saw, right?" I'd be like, "Yeah, like, you want to see some weird fucking traps?" I'd be like, "What do you mean?" They'd be like, "It's an escape room movie," and I was like, "Escape room?" Like, yeah, they're in a room.
So
they got to escape, and they can die. And I'd be like, "So Saw."
No, seriously though, but like Escape Room, the concept of it just sounds so cheesy. Like that's why I never checked it out. And here's the reason. Okay, so usually when you go to a movie, when the movie theaters in January, that's the dumping ground for all these for films. Usually in January, if a film comes out, it's not going to be that great.
Festivals, not going to be good in the summer. It's not a blockbuster. Right. It's not a big name. It's just, here's a movie, watch it for something in between.
Exactly. And usually those films are kind of like, the studios aren't that, but they still need to get some money, but they're not that invested in it, whatever. Well, this film came out in January, so I was just like, I don't really want to check it out. I'm like, it's just whatever. There was other films that were coming out at the time that I checked out, that I was watching, and then it just kind of went on, and I think my sister watched it, and she was like, oh, it's pretty good. And then, yeah, I never really ended up watching it until like last year. So it's been like 2 years, or like a year or two before I watched it.
I've been waiting for the sequel. And then like,
but this trailer,
you shared it on Facebook and was like, "This is what Spiral wishes it could be." And
exactly, I did, yes.
I was like, I gotta watch this trailer. And I was watching it, I was like, this is dope as fuck.
We had just got done watching Spiral, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is exactly what Saw should be. It's just like the intense, like, you're trying to escape for your life, and you're trying to solve puzzles while also battling with the other people around you. It's just like,
I like the fact that the trailer made it like, yo, these people all survived the rooms, and now they're against each other. And then they had like the subway trap. We got an extended look at that in the trailer. Looks dope as fuck.
And that's
the quicksand trap looked dope as fuck.
The whole and the reason I like these films, maybe even a little bit more so than Saw, is because while I do love gratuitous violence in Saw,
this isn't over the top blood and gore.
It's about the brain, like using your brain to get out of things.
Yeah, because like, oh God, it's like the simplest answer sometimes, but it's like you overthink it.
Exactly, and that's what Saw, I think, should be.
Well, that's
but
what
with
it
the
did.
blood.
It's just what it did in some of its movies, where
correct,
it's like,
exactly.
It's really
the
simple.
First one specifically, I think.
Like the first 4 had traps where like if you would just stop to thought, and then it just became a gore fest after that.
You're right, exactly. But anyways, yeah. So obviously, the Tournament of Champions means that like they even name dropped the thing in the thing, which I was like, okay, what cute.
I was like, whatever.
But yeah, so basically, all the champions from the previous escape rooms come together, and now they have to escape the room again. And they keep, and honestly, it was even trippier because like at the end, like, oh, we got out, and then like, no, you didn't. And I'm like, oh my god, just imagine the PTSD you're gonna have, bro.
Every time you go to a new place, you're like, am I in the fucking game,
bro? I that's what I thought. I was like, just you can never be like sane again. Like, am I even like in a room? Like, I'm in an escape room like constantly.
I'm gonna watch the first one again because I'm like, it's been like I think like 2 years since I've seen it.
Plus, the actors are really good.
Oh yeah, dude, the acting is amazing.
Like the main chick and the other dude. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I think this is one of those movies where I'm like, I'm excited as hell.
So another film that trailer that came out was Gunpowder Milkshake.
I haven't seen this one. You said it looked good when I saw you.
Yeah, it was honestly it was like it looked like a lot of fun. Basically, just I can't remember the entire like plot of it because it was just kind of like it just looked like fun. Honestly, it was just like it was women and guns and like a heist / like thriller. So I was just like, I'm down. It was like kind of like I don't know. It was like they were in a library and then like here's a Jane Austen and then they opened it. It was like a gun and then they put another one down. It's like Anne Hathaway and it was like another pistol or like gun and then they put another one down. I forgot what was the name of it. Like, what's this for? Like, oh, just for reading. Oh my god.
I'm probably gonna watch the movie when it comes out because you're gonna watch it and I'm gonna be like, I want to watch it too.
It just looks like not it's not gonna be Oscar worthy or anything, but it just looks like a lot. It
just looks like a fun film.
Yeah.
It's like Guns Akimbo. Like
yes,
it's weird,
exactly.
but I want to watch it.
Exactly. I think I referenced. It looks like what was that?
I think you referenced a movie, but I don't remember.
Yeah, but so this next one is a new Chris Pratt film that I think comes out on Amazon Prime, Peacock, Netflix, one of
I
them.
haven't seen this trailer either because I haven't seen a movie. This is like that sci-fi thing, right?
Yeah, it's called The Tomorrow War. Really interesting trailer. It's giving me Army of the Dead vibes in the sense that like I'm getting a sense of like the story and everything, but it just like I don't know why Chris Pratt just does not sell me as this
action hero.
Action hero, yeah. But by Army of the Dead, I mean like you're setting me up for Great Promise, but I don't think it's gonna expand out. It's not gonna fulfill what it's saying it is.
Honestly, I think Chris Pratt's getting typecast as like that action hero, and I'm like, that's not why people like.
Like
Chris Pratt.
he worked in Jurassic World because I don't just the way
his
he was.
Character wasn't
his
like
character.
a macho man. He was just an average. I don't want to say average. But he was just like he seemed normal.
Like, he seemed normal, which is exactly what he's supposed to do in that movie because he was a trainer. I'm like, it wasn't quite like he wasn't supposed to be like some vibrato like army man. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's just his character. Is like
I don't even know if that's his character anymore. I'm pretty sure
that's
like
who he is.
I'm pretty sure like with like Robert Downey Jr. Like the more they play a character, the more they just become
the
character.
person. Yeah, exactly. But then this one, he's literally just supposed to be like an army man, and I'm like, I feel like you're supposed to be funny
because I'm like every time you see
Yeah.
Chris Pratt, you're like make a joke, like you
Yeah,
you poke him like make me laugh.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna try it, but I'm hesitant.
He's
to
like
be able
he's
to.
like I'm trying to be serious, and you're like make a joke.
Exactly. You're like,
Come on,
make a joke. And he's fighting these creatures that you really didn't get quite to be able to see, and I don't know. It looks like it could be like aliens mixed with like some sci-fi elements, but then again, it's like it just depends on really how well they follow through with the action and the story. Like it could be good. But I just don't have a sense of whether or not like it's gonna be good. You know, sometimes you could tell in a trailer like, I know this is gonna be good. You know, like Logan.
Other times you're like
Logan, you see that you know it's gonna be good. Like you can just tell.
Oh yeah.
But then there's this trailer, like the way they cut it, and you're just like, okay, it could be good, but it's not quite there yet. That's how I felt about this trailer. I'll still be checking it out though. I think it comes out for streaming, so I'll probably watch it there. Next trailer. Werewolves Within. I could not tell you if this is gonna come out in theater or what.
That's a weird fucking title.
Yeah, I just saw this trailer and it was basically a small town. I don't know if he moved there, but a guy that moves to a small town and then it goes to night and then all like the cell phone towers are cut out and then the power goes out in the small town and then basically a werewolf is picking them off one by one.
All right.
Full moon.
Yeah, I guess that sounds fine.
I mean, it really, honestly, mostly just looks like like a cheap thriller, like a cheap thriller. Like, and it's not gonna. It's basically just gonna be for like pop on in like a good hour and a half of just like cheesy laughs and kind of like what I would attribute to like Trick or Treat. Has very much that type of feel.
Oof.
Like Trick or Treat and like I don't know, like with a little bit of like blood. Or more, well, I guess I had to have blood, but you know what I'm saying, just like Trick or Treat, but with a little bit more like, what's that one hunting film the hunted film that we watched, or I don't know if we watched, but it was like where they let the humans loose and they hunted them.
Oh, I didn't watch that. You watched that? I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I forgot what that was called, but it had that sort of vibe too.
Is it just called The Hunted?
It might just be called The Hunted.
Hold up, The Hunt.
Oh, The Hunt. That's what it's called. The Hunt.
The Hunt 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, so like The Hunt / like yeah, that type of vibe. So, that was an interesting trailer. I would recommend just checking it out to see if it's within your wheelhouse. The Rock. Speaking of The Rock and Black Adam, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Him and was it Emily Blunt? I want to say it's Emily Blunt. They're doing Jungle Cruise.
Oh, that trailer looks so fucking fun.
You know what? Honestly, and this I want to say it's again with the Tomorrow War. Like it has the setup for a really good premise. It has, but then the CGI in there just looked really kind of like Journey to the Center of Earthy.
Oh hell yeah! But my thing is, I like movies where they're on a river in a boat. I don't know what it is about me. I don't know why
Fair.
I don't know why I like those, but I like just people on a boat. I don't know.
Like me with time, just with you in the run a boat.
I'm just like I like journeys through jungles and I like boats. I'm good. I think there's a movie that came out. It's called The Lost City of Z.
Mm-hmm.
Jada and I thought it was a horror movie. It turns out it was like a pseudo documentary film, like about this guy that actually lived. She fell asleep in this film. I was completely enthralled because he was going through the jungles and shit. I was like, oh, this is cool as hell. So I mean, I don't care. It's jungle film with a boat. I'm good. I'm sold.
I love that. Yeah, I'm for sure still like anticipating this film, looking forward to it. It doesn't look bad per se. It just looks very like I don't know what to feel yet because it just seems like it could be good, but not. It doesn't have the aspects to sell me quite yet in the trailer that I've seen.
I thought it looked fun.
I pictured
it reminds me of like the early Mummy movies where it's just two guys and a
Yeah.
girl, and I'm just like, it's fun.
I pictured Pirates of the Caribbean, but you like just slapped on a Journey to the Center of Earth sticker on it. Like sponsored by Journeys, like Pirates of the Caribbean, sponsored by Journey to the Center of Earth. So I mean, yeah, we got that coming, and then also a fan-ish favorite that is the source of a lot of debate, and I'm sure we'll get some odd opinions here. That was a lot of words that probably didn't make much sense. M. Night Shyamalan's The Old trailer.
Fuck this trailer.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I've read the comic, dude. Like
Oh yeah, you did.
I was like watching this, and I was like, I don't really know how to feel about the fact the 6-year-old's pregnant in the trailer. I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable.
Uncomfy. Is it just because like it showed too much? You think?
No,
or what?
no. It's literally just because I've read the comic, and I'm like, the boy fucks the girl, and she gets pregnant, and the baby gets born in like 5 minutes.
Ugh.
So I'm like, I don't like this movie. I'm still gonna watch it. Don't get me wrong. Jada's like, we're gonna watch it, and I'm like, all right, whatever. But I didn't like the graphic novel. The trailer, I'm like, it's just the graphic novel, and I don't like it. I know it's just because I've read the comic, and I know that I know how it ends, but I'm just like, I don't like it.
Yeah, honestly, after M. Night Shyamalan just completely ruined Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No, it's not even that. It's like he ruined The Last Airbender. He did really good with Split, and then he fucked it all up with Glass.
Yeah, he just kind of like
he's a hit or miss dude. There is no in between. He either does really good or he does something really shit. And I'm thinking this is gonna be really shit because like you didn't have to make the 6-year-old pregnant.
Oh my God.
You didn't have to add that. That was not a necessity for this movie. You didn't need to do that, but you did.
Yeah, it's one of those films.
You added like this whole thing about the cave, which wasn't in the comic, right?
Right.
But you kept the 6-year-old being pregnant. The choices don't make sense. They don't add up.
I mean, she's not 6 anymore, is she? Right?
They age, but the fact is, she's still like a 6-year-old
in her head. Yeah.
Yeah, like she's aging, but she's not.
Oh, that's the point of the
she's
comic.
Not learning anymore.
I mean, he's adapting the comics. I mean,
I don't care. It's a bad choice. He shouldn't have done it. I disagree with this completely. I'm like, you did not need to have the 6-year-old be pregnant. There is no reason to have that in there other than just a shock.
I mean, I can't speak to that since I never read the comic, but I just say like if he's adapting the comic book, I don't know.
I just don't.
I feel like if we haven't seen it in the context of the film,
just because it works in one medium doesn't mean it's going to work in another one. Adaptions, not full on like.
Well, I don't know. To me, that seems like you're just saying that he didn't do what you wanted him to do versus like adapting the comic because we haven't seen it within the context of the film yet, so we don't actually know if it's good or not, or how it applies to that if it's any good.
Yeah, acting like Cruella should have skinned dogs.
Well, no.
Adapt it, Mytchel.
I mean, I don't know, but if that's part of the comic book series and that's part of the thing, then why wouldn't they include that? Like, I mean, if it serves the story well.
I just think it's a grotesque thing, and it shouldn't have been in the movie. But that's just my opinion. I'm still gonna watch it, but I'm just like, I don't need to see a 6-year-old give birth. I don't need that in my life. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of fucked up things, but I've never seen a 6-year-old give birth, so I'm not okay with it. And I know that her body's not going to be 6 years old, but the fact is, I'm still going to be like, just because she's aged 10 years in a matter of 20 minutes, don't care. She's still 6. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. That math doesn't compute in my head, but
it's okay. It's okay. It's my opinion, and that's just where I stand on it. I'm still going to watch it, but that's where I stand.
For sure. So that was all the trailers that we watched throughout the week. And with that down, we're going to venture on to some of our weekly movie watches. So we got to watch a lot of films, 2 films this week, 2 new ones. We'll start out with our favorite of the two, Cruella.
Cruella is amazing. I loved it.
I love it too.
I had so much fun with it.
So obviously Emma Stone plays the 101 Dalmatians villain, Cruella de Vil. However, it's a very loose adaptation of Cruella. It's not at all.
It's not as like she's not evil as Cruella. I mean, she's kind of messed up, but she's not evil.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not at all relating to the original 101 Dalmatians. So I'll get that out of your head immediately.
I do have a movie I watched this week I just want to talk about, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
It's just because like Jade and I had a lot of fun with it, and the ending was funny. But
oh, cool.
I just want to talk about this one, but we'll get there. Maybe two. Talking about Cruella, sorry.
Sure. Cruella, Emma Stone, not the same.
Who looked absolutely amazing in this. Like everything she all the dresses she had are just amazing. They all look great.
Yeah, no, exactly. I every single thing that she wore in there, I was just like, yes, queen, work it.
And I like the setting of the 70s punk.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I like the twists that they had in the films too. There's a few twists that I definitely enjoyed.
You know what I realized watching Cruella though? Is we're gonna get to a time period where the early 2000s is considered old.
We are getting
because I'm like
period.
It used to be like things like this would be set in like the 50s or 60s, and now it's like we're in the 70s. I'm like, oh, we're just moving decades up, and I'm like, God damn.
You know, a lot of what I've seen about this film, people complaining about, is that we're sympathizing with a future dog killer, and I'm like,
it's not the same character.
It's not. It's really not.
It's like Maleficent, almost in a way. Like, you know, Maleficent, like she's still quote unquote evil, but it's not like she's trying to kill Aurora.
I wouldn't even consider Cruella like even this. I mean, yeah, she has motives that are kind of mean, but at the same time, she's like, or not motives, but her aptitudes, how she gets her means to an end, are a little like vibrose,
a little skewed.
But she doesn't cross the line ever.
Yeah, it's not like she like sits there and like throws someone in the river and tries to drown him or something. Like, she doesn't do anything overly, I want to say, evil. Like she doesn't hurt anybody.
And in fact, I want to say the film, and I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody, but I want to say even the film goes out of the way to show that she does like dogs.
It was such a, I don't know. I watched this with my wife, and she wasn't looking forward to it. And then halfway through the film, she looks at me and goes, "I love this movie." And I was like, "Yeah, because it's good."
Honestly, and this I want to attribute to Emma Stone because she just rocks it.
Dude, she rules this performance. You can tell how much fun she's having, which only makes the movie feel better.
Yeah,
because you can tell that she's just having a ball playing this character.
And really, it's not even just because of Cruella. It's because I mean, this is not really spoiling things. I think it's in the trailers, and even it's like the first like 2 minutes of the film. But she has like two personalities, Estella and Cruella. Estella's the one, or is it Stella? Maybe just Stella.
I think it's Estella.
Estella, yeah. But she has this. That's who her really is. But then her mom says she's not Cruella, or she's Cruella, which is her evil side. And the dichotomy between the two of her flipping back, like being able to just
it's like two sides of a coin. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm just like, because it leaves me guessing, wait, who are you really? You know, are you Spider-Man? Are you Spider-Man wearing a Peter Parker mask, or are you Peter Parker wearing the Spider-Man mask? Or or I think maybe even more accurately, a better one is Batman on that one, because usually Batman's.
It's a solid film. I definitely think the only live action Disney movie I haven't seen is Cinderella, and I think this would be like my number one on the ranks because I had a blast with this film.
I haven't seen Cinderella or Maleficent or any of those, so. But
don't watch the second Maleficent. It's awful.
I don't even care because this film is just like on it. I don't know. I was just blown away with how smart it was. And when I say smart, I mean that a lot of the times when you have when you make films or just adaptation in general, the characters that you bring to life are very flat. You can just kind of tell they're one note. But a lot of these characters, they have multiple dimensions to them, like the henchmen. They're not just like
they're not just like
goons.
They do what you want, and instead they're actually like you actually start to like fall in love with them. Like
exactly,
you're like sitting there and you're like watching things happen. You're like, I just want these guys to be happy too.
Because my thing is like they're sitting there like they would do what normal people would do. They're supporting their family member, but then I'm not gonna get too much to it. But then they'll actually start they start to question why she's doing things and her motives, but they're supporting her at the same time. It's like it's not just about like, oh, we'll follow you blindly. It's like they're doing, I don't know, They just act like actual people. How actual people would
you
act.
feel like they're people.
And they take
when you watch movies where villains like goons and stuff,
Right.
there's always this sense like they're not people.
Right.
But this one, you're like, no, they're there. Like they're actual people with feelings and emotions, and they're affected by what happens.
And they take the small moments. They take small moments out in the film, even though there's a lot of like high intense moments. They take small moments to build that character relationship and build that character up, so he's not just a single flat note.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I loved what they did with the characters. I loved the movie. I think I gave it 4 stars. I took a star off because some CGI looked pretty bad to me, and like some things I was like, all right, that was dumb. But like most of it was just like, this is just a fun movie. Like,
I mean, so and by CGI, mostly the dogs were CGI. I mean, sorry, they were CGI. There was no mostly. All the dogs were CGI. You could tell, but for me personally,
mainly with the Dalmatians, because those are the one where I'm like,
you could, but I'm like, I could tell, but it's almost like the fact that they used it the whole time might have just been in its benefit, because I'm like, the same way, what was the movie I watched where I was like, Tom and Jerry, that was it.
Oh, fuck that.
I know you don't like Tom and Jerry, but personally for me, the way that, and this just worked for me, maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but the fact that all the animals looked cartoonish, not just it
just made it feel better.
It made it feel more authentic that they were interacting with the cartoon characters, because it wasn't just like they were, and so since the dogs were always CGI.
There's a real life elephant and then cartoon mouse.
Exactly. So just in that world, that's what elephants look like. So I was like, oh, it's understandable that these would be cartoon like character. That's why they look the way they do, and it works for me. So the fact that they were able to, that the CGI dogs, I'm like, I understand that this is the world that they live in. This is how they look like. I know they're not real. And maybe it would have been added a little bit better element if they were real. I'm sure it was a lot easier just to make him CGI as far as everything goes.
But no, it was a fun ride. I thought it was a blast. I was a little nervous going in because it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Me too, exactly. Honestly, I had no idea. And so I was sitting here, I'm like, this is a long film. But I was like, actually, you know what? I think there was one point I said that. But it wasn't a matter of like, this is taking too long. It was just like, I was not expecting it to be this long.
And it was a fun movie. I had such a blast in this.
Me too. I would definitely recommend seeing this ASAP. So another film we watched, which I was very much looking forward for a long time, ever since the first one came out. Well, I mean, I guess, was A Quiet Place Part 2. John Krasinski, our boy, who will probably not be Reed Richards, even though I want him to be. A Quiet Place Part 2, obviously follows up pretty much right after the events of the first A Quiet Place.
I have some issues with the film, but I think it's a solid sequel.
Yeah, I definitely say it's a small step down. Not like a big step down, but it's just, for me personally, I just feel like it just like didn't live up to what I see. And this is where I say you try not to go into the film without expectations, but it just felt like they took the film in a different direction than where I had wanted it to go.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna go into spoilers or anything, but I just feel like instead of building a more, what's the word? Intense ride, or like building onto like more action or anything, it built more into like world building, which is fine. I mean, I'm okay with it. It added more like rules to certain things. We met how other people are surviving and stuff. But like, I personally just was like, it kind of felt like it kind of lost some of the charm for me, because it was just like new character. Look, these people are alive, and I'm like, how the fuck are they alive there when the people are living on the farm?
I mean, obviously, I knew they're going to have to expand, because if they're moving out of their territory, then they're going to have to introduce new people. It's kind of like, you kind of imagine a zombie apocalypse, but you have to be super quiet. Like, that's the only difference. My issue is...
Can I ask you one thing?
Sure.
Did the aliens remind you of clickers?
Clickers from...
Last of Us?
Oh, shit. I haven't played Last of Us in forever.
When they're showing like the aliens with their heads and they're like all the insides and shit, all I could think about was like, that motherfucker looks like a goddamn thing out of Last of Us. I swear to God.
I mean, it was very reminiscent of something.
And then
like
all I could think about was like Last of Us 1 came out before Quiet Place, right?
Right.
So maybe John Krasinski played Last of Us, was like, oh shit, quiet, like clicker, you gotta be quiet around him.
It's possible.
I know. I'm like, there's probably some inspiration there, because all I could think about was like, if they make a sound, the clickers come after you. If you make a sound in this world, they come after you. So like, I don't know. They look very similar. They had like the fungal kind of thing.
Yeah.
It kind of like fucked in my head most of the movie, so I can think about, I was like, why are they making a Last of Us TV show when this movie's already exists? Like,
that's funny. No, I mean, there is definitely some similarities there. And my main gripe, and I guess, about this film, I'll just say gripe, yeah, is that they didn't lean more heavily into Emily Blunt's character.
Yeah, I really hated that.
And obviously, I won't get into spoilers, but it just felt like because at the end of the first A Quiet Place, the movie ends with her cocking the gun and looking at her daughter like, we fucking got this.
And this movie kind of made, I don't want to spoil anything, but it kind of made her, I don't want to call it sideline.
No, they really did. They kind of put her on the sideline. I mean, she did have a main feature in the film.
She had stuff to do, but it just didn't feel as important as the other stuff going on. And I was like,
yeah, the main part of the story was
I wanted her to do more. I wanted like a survivor family thing instead. I'm like, I get it, but it's not what I wanted.
Right, exactly. It very much felt like they had just had like the man save the day. Obviously, I'm not gonna like this. Not really any spoilers there, but it just felt like there wasn't. I don't know, just what I wanted them to lean into, but like just like there was some sort of like power in the fact that a blind girl could save the
deaf.
Yeah, blind. I fully like did. Yeah, you're right. Deaf girl. I'm so dumb. It's getting late, isn't it? No.
Sun's getting real low.
No, a deaf girl being it because like that was very much the first thing, right? The deaf girl was able to save the family.
I will say though, I still appreciate ASL being in this movie.
I do too.
Although
very much
if I watched it at home, I guarantee I would have a better experience because every motherfucker in my theater brought the noisiest goddamn snacks they fucking could.
I was really lucky this entire it was really silent the whole time. And I don't know what it was about the theater we were in, but I think everybody respected it.
Okay, so that theater experiences help form how you feel about a movie.
That film is hard though, right? Oh, it does, yeah, exactly.
So like I'm sitting there in that theater and there's this two women in the front of the theater, right? Like lower levels.
Right.
And this one woman just laughed at everything. And the most loud, obnoxious laugh I've ever heard. And I couldn't think about it. I was like, man. That's not even funny. Like, there's no reason to laugh. It's not funny. And then these guys just kept, like, crackling things. They sound like chip bags. I was like, Jesus Christ. For a mostly silent film, you're ruining the aesthetic of the film. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's not good, man.
And then people kept, like, talking behind me and stuff. Like, I mean, they're quote-unquote whispering, but I'm like, there's no sound in the movie. Like it's called A Quiet Place. Like shut the fuck up, be quiet.
Yeah, there's a lot more noise in this film than there was in other films. But yeah, there's no like honestly, I didn't even get popcorn because
Jada stopped eating her popcorn because we watched Cruella in this back to back, and Jada got popcorn, and she's like, yeah, I decided I wasn't gonna eat it because I was just like it would make too much noise.
Exactly.
And when I watched A Quiet Place 1 in theaters, everyone was quiet. There was no noise. It was amazing aesthetic. This time I was like, everyone needs to quit fucking eating their goddamn snacks. Shut the fuck up. And I kind of get it, but because like A Quiet Place 1 came out and everyone like knew about it, and I feel like this one is just people who watched the first one and were like, oh shit, the second one. We went and saw it, but they didn't understand the theater mannerisms for this kind of movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, you watch this at home. I get it. You're not at home. The movie's quiet. I can hear every fucking thing you're doing.
Yeah, and that's in one of in this type of film, it's just really hard to be able to create that atmosphere and keep that atmosphere because all it takes is one like ding or one like like
you're just like I'm out of it. Like
exactly.
All I'm focusing on is you now because you're the only noise in the theater. Like stop.
Exactly.
So I'm probably gonna rewatch this when it comes out on physical media and watch it at home in my quiet apartment with no noise. And just embrace the aesthetic. Probably do like a double feature with the first one. But I just like it
actually, yeah, that was another thing I was gonna say. I mean, even though, and I think the story was really solid still, and even though I wasn't like that, like I wouldn't say happy, but I was, I disagreed with the way they had gone with the story. I do want to say that it was still very solid for what we got.
Yeah, I mean, part of why I feel like I like Cruella more is it's a sequel that didn't. I want to say it didn't live up to my hype, but it didn't subvert my expectations, so I wasn't blown away. I wasn't like, oh my god, but I was like, it
easily had the ability to be like better than like be more excitable than Cruella. It just I mean, and the reason it came out the same weekend, that's where we're kind of comparing the two. But it just like you said, it just didn't. And like I said, I try not to have expectations when I go into a film. But honestly, I feel like
it's a sequel to a masterpiece, right? And then you can call A Quiet Place a masterpiece. I mean, a mostly silent film. deaf actress as one of the lead characters. I mean, John Krasinski's one of his first movie. He's not his first directorial debut, but like one of his like the first big movie he made, box office hit. Everyone that saw it loved it, and then you see the sequel and you're expecting it to be like this other masterpiece, and you're like, okay, you went away. I didn't
honestly,
think you were gonna go.
I don't think it's honestly. I think it's kind of the trailers and the last movie's fault of why I thought the way it was supposed to go, because the whole
it didn't really lead you into what actually happened.
Right, exactly, because the like I said, like we had mentioned, Emily Blunt cocking the shotgun with the other two aliens coming in at the end of the first one, and then the trailers show her running with a child and everything towards something,
focusing on the box with the baby.
Very much focusing on the family and Emily Blunt, and we kind of already knew that there was the hearing device that had to play in somehow with the future stuff.
I forgot that was a thing.
Really?
Yeah, the movie started and she grabbed her hearing device. I was like, "Oh shit!"
I had just early, like I had watched it like an hour before.
I haven't seen A Quiet Place since I saw it in theaters back in like 2017. So I
can see why you would forget that.
"Oh shit!" Yeah, like they focused on the nail in the movie like for a second at the very beginning, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right, that happened," because it's just been so long.
It really has, yeah. but yeah, so that's why I was like, and it just very much focused on the family and Emily Blunt, and then what we ended up getting was not that.
But it still was a fun movie.
It was.
I just feel like if this didn't have to like live in the shadow of the first one, if it was like its own kind of movie, it
John
probably would have been
Krasinski
better.
played it safe.
He did, and apparently he has plans for A Quiet Place 3. And I'm like,
there definitely should be.
Don't rush into this, like John. Just don't rush into it. Take your time again.
I feel like if you're gonna do a third one, he needs to wrap it up. Like he needs to go a little bigger, and then. I mean, this is my personal thoughts. Obviously, it doesn't have to do with ideas.
My personal thing is don't do A Quiet Place 3. Do a spinoff and focus on another, not even like another family, but focus on like I want to see another country. I want to see like people in Russia.
My questions
like
are. I mean, it would be pretty cool to see what other people.
Because now I have questions like: is this only America? Like, is America the only place like affected? Is this a worldwide thing?
No, because remember they said in the film.
I haven't seen the first one in years, man. I don't.
No, it's not in the first one. It's in the second one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean, and this is not a spoiler. It's literally in like the news. Like it's not a spoiler because it's not doesn't have the effect.
Is it at the beginning of the film?
Yeah,
and like it's like over like saying a world. I still think that
it was. They said it was in like I think they said it was in China too.
Okay, well, I don't know. I have questions about how the world works. I know that it's like very local film, like a localized kind of thing, where like you're in a small area.
I mean, you gotta think about it. It's only a year after this had happened, right? So
yeah, but I'm just like, I just want to know how other countries handled it or how other countries did things. But I'm also like, I want to see more about the family. But I'm also like,
I don't necessarily care.
I don't know how much you can do more with this. Like,
I mean, the whole point is I feel like she has the answer to killing these things, right? So
spoilers. I'm just kidding. That was in the first one.
Yeah, it was in the first one. So I was like, they showed that in the first one. So she has the answer to killing these things. So I want to see how they expand on that.
That makes sense. Because
they did a little bit in this film.
I want him to take his time. I want him to polish it. I want him to like come up with better ideas, and like not even better. I just want him to expand more on it.
I want to know how many of these things are out there.
Because I'm like.
Like I want to know, like, are we looking at like hordes of them, like zombies? Or are we looking at like there's 10 or 15? You know, or well, I guess, or there's like 10. You know, because like what they establish
or 1 million.
What they establish exactly, because what they established in the first one is that there's like 3 of them, right? And obviously what we get within this one. So now I'm just curious as to how many there actually are.
That makes sense. I just want, if they do a third one, I want them to be more ambitious.
And something about me just wants to see like some sort of like was it Starship Troopers, just some sort of like just completely like letting off rounds of ammo and just like seeing these things swarm at them and then just blaring the earpiece and just mowing them down. I don't know, just like, but that's just me. That's just me and my action shit wanting to see some cool shit happen.
I will say I rated this movie the exact same as I did my first one.
I was thinking about it, but I think just because the way they took the movie, I think it's like half a star lower. Not much, just a little bit.
I will say I didn't miss John Krasinski's character in this, so you get bonus points for that. I wasn't like, damn, I wish he was here. I was like, no, it's not good. He's gone, but you don't feel like his presence is missed as much.
Yeah, because it feels like he's still sort of there though. Because they talk about him a lot. They kept referencing him, and then obviously.
And then the beginning.
Yeah.
This is a spoiler.
Yeah, he was in the trailer.
Like,
yeah, he was in the trailer.
There's like the he's in the beginning of the film.
Yeah, because of the flashback that they show.
Which I felt was unnecessary, but I get why they did it.
I don't, because it has served a story purpose. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think it showed. I have questions about it. I'll talk to you about it afterwards without spoiling. But I have some questions about things, and I'm like, I don't know why, but we'll talk about that later.
So
I definitely think that if you liked A Quiet Place, you should check out the second.
Oh well, yeah, no, 100%.
Like
I would definitely still check that out. So that's a really good, solid film. I really like it. It was very enjoyable, regardless.
We just like Cruella more.
I just something about Emma Stone and just like the outfits and the flair and the supporting characters.
It was so much fun.
It was fun to watch, and honestly, the score was phenomenal.
Dude, I was like sitting there, and I was in the theater, and I looked at Jade. I was like, this soundtrack is bomb as fuck. Like
this shit busting.
I was like, every song that came on, I was like, this fits so well.
Speaking of amazing scores, one movie in 1980s that has an amazing score that I just checked out for the first time, Tom Cruise's Top Gun.
I don't like that movie.
I was about to ask if you ever seen it, but you just said you don't like it.
I don't.
I love it. I don't love it. It's a good film. It's a good, solid film.
My issue is I don't like Tom Cruise because I'm just like.
Oh yeah, you don't, do you?
I just look at him and I'm like.
I do. I like Tom Cruise.
He has like that face where I'm like, I could punch you, and I want to feel bad because like.
As I have about Jesse Eisenberg.
He's like that face where he's like he does a smile like I know I'm hot, and I'm like I don't like you, like.
He has like the suave debonair.
My issue with him, I guess, stems from the fact he still acts like he's a star in the '80s.
He does,
and I'm like, you're 50 years old, man. Yeah, you need to fucking chill. Like,
I think that's why a lot of people like him, though. But he has like the blood of freaking like God, like Greek gods. Like he still looks the exact same.
It bothers me because he's like, I'm a heartthrob still. I'm like, you're 50 years old. You need to stop trying to be shirtless scenes and trying to get babes. You are 50 years old, sir.
I swear, there's probably millions of people that are disagreeing with you. Like,
I'm okay with that. I'm a dude. I don't need to find him attractive. I don't care. I'm just like. You're getting too old for this, dude. Stop.
I disagree.
And then like my biggest, I know why you watched Top Gun because Top Gun Maverick's coming out.
I mean, in Top Gun, I was gonna watch it anyways, but then it came in theater for like the 35th anniversary. I want to say, so I went to go see it in theaters with my sister, and I really enjoyed it.
I didn't like the love angle in it. If I'm remembering correctly, I was like, this seems kind of forced.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that felt very natural, but then again, if you think about it. Like in the sense that like you had mentioned, usually you have to look at it back in how it was back then, like how it seems very much like how it would happen back then. Like I say, okay, this is the like so like he follows her into the women's restroom, like okay, that would you'd really die. Like
now, what I'm interested in is because Rooster died, right?
Goose,
Rooster, his son's name. That's what his son goes by.
Oh, okay,
that's why I was thinking about it. Rooster, the guy's son, Goose's son,
right,
is one of the main characters in Top Gun Maverick.
Is it Miles Teller?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And I feel like part of the conflict is going to be like him like blaming Tom Cruise's character for his dad's death.
I hope they wouldn't do that. That would be.
They're gonna do it. Come on.
I think it will be more of an interesting dynamic if Maverick gives Rooster a harder time because he
wants him to be better.
He wants him to be better, and he doesn't want him to die.
There's like that scene in the Maverick trailer where he gets pulled away from Rooster because they're like squaring up to each other and they have to get separated. And I'm like, I know there's gonna be conflict because like Rooster's gonna be blaming him for his dad's death. That's gonna happen. And like I don't know how big of a thing it's gonna be in the
like
movie.
Scoffing is just because it's just so like cliche.
It's Tom Cruise. I don't.
No, but that's not Tom Cruise didn't write the film, so
he produced it and had a say in shit. He was one of the people behind the movie, going like, "We could do a sequel to Top Gun." People really like Top Gun. You can
get a producer credit from just like saying somebody's name.
But it's Tom Cruise. He has creative control in some aspect. He has creative control.
Usually the actors don't have creative
in half
control.
the movies he does. I swear he has creative control because he's like, I want things done my way. That's why he's able to go learn how to fly planes. He's like, I have some form of creative control to do what I want to do, and I want to fly the plane, so I'm going to fly the plane.
I mean, I like that he likes doing his own stunts. Like that's the thing. I mean, which I think is pretty cool. But I feel like there's no way that he has.
He has to have some form of creative control.
Yeah, we didn't write the script, and like, ultimately, it's up to the director and the filmmaker. Like, what happens with
It depends. I know some actors get control over certain aspects and can say yes or no to.
Generally, though, yeah, but that takes like a very special actor. Generally, though, they don't do that because
Tom Cruise. He's a pretty big actor.
Yeah, but I feel like I know, I understand that, but even at Tom Cruise level, I feel like, I mean, yeah, if Tom Cruise says something, you're probably gonna do it. But at the same time, I'm just saying, like, usually they're gonna come up. I feel like they would want to come up with a script that's not so. Like, I don't know. I guess they could. Obviously, I don't know. But it just feels like
I'm not expecting a lot of Maverick, so I'm like,
no. Well, I mean, I definitely enjoyed Top Gun, but just the Maverick, I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do with this.
I'm feeling like it's gonna be a very cliche movie, and that's just because partially because I don't like Tom Cruise. I didn't really like Top Gun, but I feel like it's gonna be very cliche and average. And trying to live up to the name Top Gun, trying to get people just be like, oh, I like Top Gun. I'm gonna go see Top Gun Maverick because I like Top Gun. And then just
I mean, all the remakes definitely have a risk of running that, because I feel like sometimes, you know, they just trying to play off of the nostalgia.
That's what I'm scared of. I'm scared it's just that kind of play, and they're gonna be leaning into like, oh, remember in Top Gun where he did the thing? Because there was even in the trailer with Maverick where they're on the beach doing volleyball. I was like, come on, man.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, I hope it doesn't run that way. That'd be my hope. But I guess, you know, I guess we gotta wait and see. So, what films did you see this week that you want to talk about?
I watched this 90-minute French film called Fat Girl.
All right.
You know what it's called when it was released in English?
What's that?
Like in America? Story of a Whale.
Oh my God. Is it about a whale?
No, it's about a fat girl.
Oh no, this is not good.
And all it is like this 12-year-old French girl who's jealous of her 15-year-old sister who's having sex and everything with her in the room.
What
you heard me right. She's like going down on a guy while her sister's across the room in bed. And like Jade and I were watching this and we're like, this is a weird fucking movie. And I'm going to spoil it because I don't give a fuck. It's from 2001. No one's going to watch this movie. I only watched this in the Criterion Collection. But I shit you not. The last 10 minutes of the movie, Jada goes, I'm going to give it 5 stars if someone gets raped or killed. Guess what happens in the last 10 minutes?
Raped and killed.
The mom, the sister get killed, and the guy takes the girl out of the car and rapes her in the woods. And I looked at Jada and I was like,
so you're telling me that you can watch that and not be, and you can be okay with that, but then you can't watch a 6-year-old get pregnant? When that's not even
I didn't know this was going to happen in the movie. There's a totally different aspect from when I see it in the trailer, and I'm like, all right, we're going to see a 6-year-old give birth. Versus, I'm going to watch a movie about this awkward 12-year-old girl who's fat.
Well, that's
there was a scene where she's in a pool, and she goes to one pole, and she's like, I know you love me, and kisses the pole and swims the other side and kisses the ladder and goes, I wasn't cheating on you, I promise. And she swims back and forth doing this like 3 times, and Jada's like, what the fuck are we watching? And I was like, Fat Girl, I don't know, like a weird fucking movie.
I don't even know. I'm sorry.
I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah, that sounds like
only
you.
Because I was like, the last 10 minutes, bro, like plot twist as fuck. Like
dead rape.
You know what? Jada didn't give it 5 stars though. She's a liar. She was like, it wasn't actually supposed to do that, and I was like, well, you fucking said.
Yeah, I mean, I got no words for you, bro. Like that's out of my wheelhouse. I'll talk about Cruella. I'll talk about Quiet Place. I'll talk about everything else, but like that's just.
It was a weird movie.
That's out of my wheelhouse.
And that was a weird one I watched. I watched a movie called Nightmare Alley.
That sounds familiar. Did you tell me about that?
I did tell you about it. It's about this con man who decides to use this trick and try to get famous, and then like it's one of those classic like early 40s films where like you wrote, it's like the Icarus thing where you fly too close to the sun, you're gonna melt and go down. Oh yeah. So like he gets too big, and eventually like downward spiral. You know how it works. Yeah. The reason I'm talking about it was a good movie, but I don't really. It's simple as fuck. It's just a guy, con man, gets caught. Shit goes down. Right. Guillermo del Toro is making a
that's what you're talking
remake of this film that comes out this year.
Okay, yeah, that's why you're talking about it. I was like, because you said Guillermo del Toro, and I was like, oh yeah, Hellboy guy.
I'm excited for it because I'm just like, is he gonna like follow this beat for beat? Because it doesn't seem like his style. But if he does some like creepy shit, like mystic art stuff, that seems like his style, which it has room for in this film. But you also got to think this is a 1947 film. And Guillermo del Toro, like Edgar Wright and Bong Joon-ho, loves film. So
Yeah.
part of me is like, he could be very like respectful to it and like just be a remake, or he has his own twist because he likes his spooky stuff.
I mean, I feel like if you're gonna do, I feel like you wouldn't do a shot by shot remake. I feel like that is just kind of like a waste of time. My personal opinion, I feel like if you're gonna do a film, remake it, readapt it, use your own sensibilities. Otherwise, why do it? Anybody can do a shot for shot remake.
I know, that's why I'm interested though, because he is known for like his spooky stuff, and then seeing like this 1947 film about a con man who goes too big for himself. I'm interested to see if he does something different with it.
It'll be interesting. I'd be cool to see that.
For those of you who want to watch the original before Guillermo del Toro's movie comes out this year, it is in the Criterion Collection. It just released last Tuesday.
That's exciting.
It was a good movie. I liked it a lot.
Well, we shall look out for that. Oh, I'm sure we'll talk about that when it comes out.
I'm excited for it. I saw this when it was announced by Criterion. It was Nightmare Alley, and then I was like, isn't Guillermo del Toro making a movie called Nightmare Alley? And shit, like. It was,
honestly, I don't even know how you knew about that. I had no idea that was even a thing.
It's because I watched Devil's Backbone and Pan's Labyrinth like back to back, and I was looking up Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So I saw Nightmare Alley and his upcoming filmography. I don't know why it stuck with me. I think it's just because of the name.
It is a cool name.
And then I saw this coming out, and I was like, that seems familiar. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, Guillermo del Toro is making a remake of it.
That's cool.
Weird.
Well, those are some exciting films to check out. If you haven't seen those, obviously, some more obscure things. And
I like obscure.
Yeah, you definitely do. And I like hearing about your obscure things because
you're like, I want to watch it, but
well, yeah. I mean, it just gives me a perspective of what else is out there.
This is literally just me going through the Criterion Collection like beat by beat and just like finding weird films.
Right.
I'm almost watched the first 300 Spines though. Gang.
Getting there. Almost I'm
35% through the collection. Woo!
Woo!
I'll be done with it by like next year.
Oh wow!
I probably won't. It's a lot of movies.
Well, you got 6 months pretty much. So you'll be probably like halfway through.
It's taking me 2 months to get from Spine 200 to Spine 300 almost.
So yeah, I
haven't hit any spines this set of 100 though. That I've been like, I don't want to watch that. So like normally what happens is I'll watch like up to a movie and then I'll be at that movie and I'll be like, I don't want to watch that, and then I just don't watch anything for like 2 months.
Yeah,
I'll watch everything else, like not even in the collection. I'll start venturing through my other films in my collection, just watching other things because I'm like, I don't want to watch that one, and I'll just force myself one day. I'll be like, all right, you're gonna do it. Sit down and get it over with. Normally, it's when I hit like a 4-hour long movie, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Wouldn't want to watch the Olympics.
dude, I have a Spine 900 is a like fucking 40 film Olympic box set spanning Olympics from 1912 to 2012, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
I'm gonna hate my life when I get there.
40,
I should just start watching them now, so I don't have to watch them all in one big batch.
It would be smart. So with that down, let's move on to our Filmverse feature. Each week, one of us picks a movie that we want the other person to see, and this week, Bryce chose David Fincher's The Social Network, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Andrew Garfield, and my boy Justin Timberlake.
Third David Fincher in a row. Whoop whoop
whoop. So obviously, well, who was the chick? I forgot the name of the chick's name. Is it? The chick that plays London Tipton and Sweet Love is
Song.
Yeah, Brenda Song. She and Andrew Garfield hooked up, and I was like, that's right. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Spider-Man crossover right here. This is what I want to see.
I have conflicted views about this film after watching it.
Because
I'm like,
it's okay. It's just whatever. I don't know.
It doesn't feel like a David Fincher film, but it also doesn't not feel like it. It's like in between. Like I'm like, you can tell David Fincher directed it, but it doesn't feel like a movie he would direct.
Because I can see that.
After you've seen like Seven and Zodiac and all that, and then you're like, why would he make a film about Facebook?
Yeah, when I was watching it earlier, I was mentioning that it seemed, I don't know if any of you read books that have listened to the podcast, but it feels very much like a stream of consciousness type film. How he directs, just kind of like it just flows, kind of like how the voice and how the story, it just kind of like moves, kind of like a snake almost. It just kind of like slithers back and forth without really having like a solid direction. You know, I feel like a lot of films are like, it's more of like a kind of like a ping. You know, they'll just like go to one direction and then bounce, in like one solid line. But this one kind of just like wiggles.
I'm curious how much of this film, like, this couldn't have actually happened the way this film went down, because it just feels like, how would they know?
Right.
But I'm also like, I know the I can't even pronounce it.
I'm sure Eduardo probably would say something.
Eduardo was real, the characters were real, but my issue was like, how much of this was dramatized just to make money? And then like I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, Jesse Eisenberg did pretty good at portraying that reptilian man.
He did, but it's because he is a reptilian man. Jesse Eisenberg's a weirdo. Creep.
Yeah, I was like, his performance was okay, but like he didn't really have to act. He just had to sit there. Yeah, I don't know, man.
He did too. I mean, overall, I mean, it was not a bad film.
I wish Andrew Garfield was in it more, but I just like seeing Andrew Garfield.
Same. Every time he talks, I'm like, I was happy.
He was like, man, Eduardo got screwed over in this, because I'm like,
this and probably real life.
All I can think about though is like, you ever heard of contracts? Ever heard? I mean, I know he signed contracts, but like
he signed one that fucked him over.
But I'm also like, did none of you guys fucking watch Judge Judy? Because that thing was around in this time period. Judy. Like, you guys know about like this shit. Like, you're a business major. How the fuck do you fuck up? Like,
yeah,
how do you fuck up a business deal when you're a business major?
Well, to be fair, he did say that he thought those were his lawyers. Like, they thought he thought that they went over it for him. So in his defense, I kind of get that situation where it's like it's your friend, like if it was like I mean, or something, you kind of would trust them, especially you've been through with at the beginning, you've put up the money, you've been making the decisions,
okay, My issue though is like he put up the money and wasn't getting any back. He just kept putting up the money, and he was just like, oh, he's my friend. I'm like, Mytchel, as much as I love you, I would not give you $19,000 and not get anything in return. That's not fucking happening.
No, I know.
And then like, Justin Timberlake looked weird as fuck in this movie.
It's because he didn't have a shaved head.
It's weird for me. So I can think. I swear to, I've seen that clip where like Andrew Garfield's like, I'm sorry, my Prada's at the cleaner along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip flops. I've seen that scene probably 1,000 times. I never recognized that was Justin Timberlake. So I spent the entire movie going like, where the fuck is that character? Because I didn't know that was Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until like he woke up and it was just like talking to some chick. I'm like, wait, is that Justin Timberlake? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I looked up In Time and I was like, but this was a year. In Time was a year after. He just shaved his head and looks completely different.
It's weird for me.
Even sounds different now in Time.
And then like I will say the dean or whatever the fuck of the school.
He was funny.
Funny fucking character. They come in bitching about like, oh, he stole our stuff. He's like,
I don't give a fuck.
Do I look like I care? Like, well, I was like, I don't care.
He's like, y'all have it, boys. You figure it out. I got to eat my po' boy sandwich.
It's like, this is a personal issue. No, it's a school issue. Like, no, I'm pretty sure it's a personal issue. Deal with your fucking self. I don't care. I love that.
Yeah,
I will say, I feel like they had a lot of big name actors in this. Did you see Ashley Tisdale at all?
No, I said Ashley Tisdale because in my head I thought.
You were thinking of Brenda Song?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet Love of Zack and Cody.
I spent the entire movie looking for Ashley Tisdale, and I was like, where the fuck is she?
Nah, I thought of Brenda's song, and it was Zack and Cody's name just got mixed up in my head. So,
but no, the movie's fine. It's a fine movie. I don't think it's as good as everyone was making it out to be, because they made it seem like it was like one of the best dramatizations ever.
Yeah,
and all I can think about was like
probably just because it was Facebook. Like they're like, it's about the Zuckerberg. That's probably the best thing ever.
Facebook put advertising for Facebook.
Yeah, it was funny. I like got on Facebook while I was watching it, and I'm like, this is kind of like meta. I don't know if I like this.
No, I mean, I let the movie feel fine. I mean, something about
it was a thumbs up. It was like a 3.
That's what I gave it.
Okay, cool.
Something about Fincher films. I'm just like, they're either like really fucking good, like 7, or I'm just like, they're meh. Like,
I feel like I gave 7 like 3.5.
But like most of his films just feel meh to me. Like I hate it because
all of his films have been like. I mean, I don't know what else. I can't think.
We saw Mank, Zodiac, Mank. 7, and this now.
I hated Mank. Zodiac.
I hated Mank too. I've seen Mank twice.
Zodiac. Okay, so Mank, I give a thumbs down. Zodiac, I say, is okay.
It was just really long and slow.
7, thumbs up. And then this one, I'd say okay as well.
I wasn't blown away, but I was also like, it was fine.
7, I only gave it thumbs up because of the ending. If 7, obviously we talked about this last podcast, but yeah, I mean that was the only one I gave him a thumbs up, and it was just because the ending was good. This one, it was just very much like, I don't know, it was like one of those documentary films, but
it just felt like I just left it feeling like, yep, that was the movie.
Yeah,
I didn't gain anything, I didn't lose anything. It was a fine watch.
But speaking of fine watches and David Fincher, I'm just gonna keep this train rolling.
Are we watching Gone Girl?
We are watching Gone Girl.
Yeah, I like Gone Girl. I'm good with that.
We're
gonna slowly. This is like with the rest of the podcast is just be us finishing David Fincher. We're gonna be like down to 3 movies. We're gonna be like, fuck it, let's just watch them all.
It's funny because like all of David Fincher's movies is what I wanted to see. So like, a lot of them are what I want to.
Isn't it weird though? Because we're leaving every single one going like, I don't know, it was fine, and then we're like, hey, we're watching another one.
I mean, because I've heard they're all really good, and I'm like, I just want to see. Oh, Fight Club, of course, Fight Club, yeah, Fight Club's fucking phenomenal.
Fight Club's the only movie I know of that. I like Gone Girl. I've seen that one before. I like Gone Girl. I'll watch it again. I loved it. It was fun.
I love Fight Club. So okay, there's one. That
I haven't seen Fight Club
big
since I was
thumbs
like 8.
I heard. Oh, he also did World War Z. Great movie.
He didn't do World War Z. He didn't direct that.
I see World War Z on his
I think
filmography.
he might have produced it, but I don't think he directed it.
That makes sense. I hate when they include that when it's like, who directed this?
I know. Hold up. I got this.
You know,
now I got to find another Fincher film to watch after.
This is why you don't use Google when you're trying to look up.
He made the only movies left of his I have to watch is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Heard that's pretty good.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Game, and Panic Room.
Panic Room I heard is really good too.
But he's directed 13 films, and they're Fight Club, Gone Girl, Social Network, 7, Zodiac, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Mank, The Game, Panic Room, Alien 3.
Also, when I watch Alien 3, but I watched Alien 2 first.
I gave Alien 3 1 star. But take this with a grain of salt for me. Jesus. I hate the Alien franchise. So I know people love it. I hate it. But that's just my take. I've watched every single one, and I don't like it. So that's just my view, and it doesn't matter who directed it. I just don't like the whole thing.
I also heard The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's Daniel Craig in it.
Okay, I guess it can't be horrible if he's in it. But yeah, so I mean, some cool films we'll still check out. I'll be excited to watch. So we'll be Gone Girl, and then I think hopefully maybe watch. Maybe we should just like finish the last two, and like we should just meet up and just instead of picking him again. Yeah, stop watching David Fincher. We just want to learn about something else. We'll just watch the last two.
My next one's totally gonna be Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I don't give a fuck.
I know. I was like, we should just meet up and like watch all the rest of them. So
here's what's funny though is only Curious Case of Benjamin Button and The Game are in the Criterion Collection.
Sorry, I just saw some ads for Marvel News, and I was just like, I'm sorry, what? So I just saw something about Chadwick Boseman and another thing about Doctor Strange. I'm like, I'm sorry, please give me more news.
The Game has the guy who plays Hank Pym, Michael Douglas.
Oh yeah, he's pretty cool, good actor.
And Curious Case of Benjamin Button has Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying our little Fincher binge.
Me too.
Because I'm like, I apparently have not seen that many Fincher films, and now I'm just like going through it.
We going through it. Well, with that, I already said that. So, well, thank you guys as we joined. As we joined ourselves with us. with us. God. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us as we talked a slew of movie news, The Social Network. We talked Cruella and A Quiet Place, and various pieces of content we watched throughout the week. New episodes come out every Tuesday, so be sure to follow us and turn on the notifications to get updates every time we post. Ba-ding! If you want to keep up with our activities outside the airwaves, you can stalk us on Instagram at Into the Filmverse Podcast. And if Bryce, people want to follow you and your wonderful adventures online, where can they get you at?
You can find me on Letterboxd at Payne Reviews, Payne Reviews, Twitter at Sanguine Films, and I was like, what am I missing? Instagram at Payne Loves Cinema.
And you can stay connected with me, the vibrato pineapple lover Mytchel Chandler, by following me on Facebook and Instagram at author Mytchel Chandler, on Twitter at Mytchel Chandler, and on Letterboxd at Mitch Reviews. And keep in mind that my name is spelled differently than most Mitchells. It's Mytchel. And that is all for this week, our fellow cinephiles. And until next time, EXCELSIOR!